1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon. Oh.
If as they often happens with free kicks, you get the two attackers, one of whom's going to take the kick. They do that, as we know, when they walk off the pitch. They're doing that. They don't want to be lip read, so to speak. I think it's a very good rule, because if you actually ask yourself in the course of a game, in game time, as Tony used that expression, when would one player ever want to say something to an opponent during the match and put a hand over his mouth? I mean, they're not mates. If they are, they're not going to be necessarily doing that. So, in other words, if they do that, you could perhaps have a pretty good bet they're saying something offensive, something they shouldn't be saying. So as long as they all know the rule, you don't say something to somebody and put your hand over your mouth. I mean, as Tony said, there's lots of different languages out there on the football pitch. If you were that aggrieved with someone who keeps fouling you, you could quietly say something in a different language to that player, and they wouldn't understand what you said anyway. But then I suppose that would defeat the object of saying anything. But on balance, I think it's a good thing, because it will cut out. Clearly, the real risk is maybe some racist comment here and there. So if it stops all that, and the players know they're going to be sent off if they do that, then it can only be good, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, now there's rule number 4. Players who leave the pitch in protests will receive a red card. Teams who do the same will forfeit the match.
Well,
now we know what that's referencing, don't we? It's referencing the Senegal and Morocco. Is it Morocco?
Yeah.
Yeah, Senegal, Morocco. What do we make of that?
Well, we try to keep it as civil as we can. You know, at the end of the day, football should be about the game, you know. And if there are stuff like referees and stuff like that getting mixed up with politics like that, I feel like there shouldn't really be referees then in that sense of situation, where a player has to go out and make a protest about it when he comes off the pitch, or like in the same situation, the whole team is angry because this referee is making some stupid mistakes, or is intentionally not letting them get what they want. So it's okay in a sense. We should, like I said, we shouldn't really be able to, like, the player shouldn't really have to protest in the sense of that, because at the end of the day, it should be fair game. That's the whole point of having a referee that's from a different, almost, is it like the referees from a different continent to officiate a match or something like that. So that way they can't really be biased in a sense. Of course, there are some referees who are biased, but at the end of the day, they should be completely neutral in a sense. So if you can't always cut it out, but as much as we can try cut it out, it's not going to be easy. But at the end of the day, referees, I kind of feel like it does, a lot of it does stem from the referee. I'm not trying to say it's completely referee's fault, but at the time, a lot of these players are protesting because either it's not going in their favour, or it's either completely unbiased. I remember when, for just a quick experience, Ian Wright, he was playing in Arsenal at the time, and I can't remember, it's a well-known referee, and he goes, that day he had it for me, and he openly said, I have it for you, because I think at the time Ian Wright was just going on his nerves or something like that. That's what he was saying, and he goes, the fouls he was getting, those should be red cards easily, but no, the referee's saying play on. And he went on and on and on. And on the third one, I think third off.
Say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose. 3 beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.
I think third or fourth one he said, oh, don't worry, ref, I understand, play on. So in those type of cases, this is where it's saying it's stemming from the referee, because obviously he had a bias. He didn't like that particular player, and obviously, I mean, at the time, they didn't really protest in that time of football. But now a lot of these players have the media platforms and stuff like that, so they can protest. So this is why I say we should try keep neutral as much as we can. So, and on top of that, you know, if it's a big player, let's say Ronaldo is protesting, of course the whole team is going to say, you know what, we're sticking with Ronaldo. We're coming up the pitch too as well, you know. And it's a tough one, but it should be a rule in force, you know. Because like I said, in that way, if the player's not protesting, it kind of makes it seem that, okay, this is a fair game then, you know.
Yeah. Bruv?
Yeah, I mean, on one of the points Tony made about where referees come from, I was really surprised in the opening match, Mexico, South Africa. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. The ref was either Brazilian or Argentinian. Now, we can perhaps check that at some point. And I remember thinking, well, that's a bit dicey because, you know, there may be rivalries. I mean, a bit like, say, England and Scotland. I know we're all in the same UK, but South America, who's to say that a Brazilian isn't going to be biased against a Mexican footballer? And it was either Brazilian, I think it was Brazilian, the ref, otherwise Argentinian, but we can check that out. But I was really surprised because I would have thought at the very least the ref should come from somewhere in North America or Europe. So that was one that seemed to go against the grain. As for this rule about protests and teams or individuals walking off, I think quite rightly FIFA are covering this base because this is only really, to my knowledge, I mean, when Senegal and Morocco had that game, that situation was pretty much unheard of, where a team refuses to play on and they all troop off. Maybe there are other examples, but not, I would have thought, at a high level of the game. Some say Senegal should have ended up being the champions, which they technically were not. But so I suppose FIFA reacted with alarm, thinking, my God, we can't afford at our Festival of World Football for a team or an individual, but certainly a team, to suddenly say, no, we're not putting up with this, either from the ref or the crowd, comments from the crowd or from other players. You cannot have a team taken off the pitch, you know, or going off the pitch protesting, short of there being a riot and the ref takes them off. That's different. But no, if a team decides to go off as a protest about...
Say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, three beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on